Women's Day to every woman out there. There are International Women's Days observed every year on the 8th day of March. And this day is to celebrate and also to create awareness amongst people about gender equality, effects of gender bias, role of women in the society, abuse against women, equal rights of women, reproductive issues faced by women, and much more. But this year's theme is Digital, innovation and technology for gender equality, and our lives depend on strong technological integration. Now, attending a course, calling a loved one, making a bank transaction, or booking a medical appointment, everything currently goes through a digital process. However, here comes the sad news. 37% of women do not use the internet. 259 million fewer women have access to the internet than men, even though they account for nearly half the world's population. If women are unable to access the internet and do not feel safe online, they are unable to develop the necessary digital skills to engage in digital space, which will diminish the opportunities to pursue careers in science, in technology, in engineering, and mathematics. They call it STEM. You know, STEM-related fields, by 2050, 75% of jobs will be related to that area. Yet today, women hold just 22% of positions in artificial intelligence, to name just one. And that's why the UN has decided that today we're going to talk about the women, and we're going to focus on how we can create that technological enlightenment to them and draw more women into the tech field, because we actually do need. Imagine now where there's no cash and women need to do transfers. Have you ever gone to the market to buy something in recent times, and then you want to buy Garant? The Garant one tells you, I don't have an account. I don't receive transfers. I don't know how to do it. So you see the challenges. We need to create awareness. And today, we're going to do it. I have guests on the show, but I will reveal my very intelligent special guests on this topic. Before I do that, we'll go on a short break, and after that break, you meet my guest.
Okay, next one. Sit down. Look to camera.
This is what it looks like to be exceptional, to stand out from the crowd, to make history. But what if women didn't have to be exceptional? What if they didn't have to be the first, the best, or the only woman? What if being a female engineer wasn't remarkable? What if women and men could compete as equals? I don't want to make history. I don't want to be the only woman. I want to be one of many.
Alright, welcome back. My name is Daisy Liu Asikidi, your host on today's edition of the show Flipside, and we're talking about women in technology. In fact, we're just talking about women in general on the International Women's Day. We're not going to restrict ourselves to tech, but it's just so sad that when I read the UN's investigation to find out that we have just 22% of positions in tech world occupied by women. And what made me even sadder is how many of these 22% are Africans? Then how many of these Africans are Nigerian women? Is it just making videos on TikTok, twerking that we do with our tech, or we're learning how to code? Because the world is really going to another sphere. But I promise that when we come back from the break, you'll meet my guests. So let's get right into this so we can start talking. I have seated very close to me a senior in the mommy industry. I don't want people to not know that you are mommy. I want them to know. They have to just know. All right, I have Comrade Precious Ogafua with me, and she's a woman and youth enthusiast and an activist too. It's good to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Happy International Women's Day. And then I have a double senior in the house as well. Of course, she's the senior in the mom industry, and we are still trying. I'm personally trying to learn how she combines being a mom and doing all her many careers and involvements. She's in one seminar today. She's traveling tomorrow. In fact, you came in yesterday. The travels have not even started, but it's all right. Comrade Grace of Akida is with us today, and it's such a delight to have you join us.
Thank you for having me, and it's a very special day. And to our viewers out there, happy International Women's Day.
Yeah. All right, so I'll start with you, Comrade Grace. In the theme for this year, and then I saw the
slogan.
Yeah,
the
the slogan. I saw people making videos with it. Even people that don't even understand what it is. But in general, what does this year's International Women's Day mean to you, the theme and everything in general?
Particularly, it has always been an interesting time having to celebrate International Women's Day because it brings a fresh awareness. It gives people a higher morale. I wonder how they take time to select their themes every year. It's always very, very unique, and the slogan makes it more passionate. Now, looking at digital, using technology and innovations to create more awareness on women's involvement in technology. I picked particularly from my organization the area where it affects education, so that women no longer have this excuse, or we are no longer shortchanged from having the four walls of the classroom. This is a step ahead for women to involve themselves in technology, so that even at the confine of your room, last year alone I had 3 certificates between the space of the first quarter and the second quarter without going anywhere, all online. So this year's theme is just trying to create an awareness to women that irrespective of how the society tries to fight of the gender equality and their spaces with which they can reach in life, the digital life we are advancing into should be taken advantage of. And you see, the beautiful part about this year's theme is we're talking about embracing technology, embracing the digital world for us to be able to fight gender inequality. It is time for women to begin to come out of their shell. So they are using this year to say enough of excuses, enough of sitting to the natural and the physical challenges that wants to play you down. It's time to arise from your hiding and launch into the digital world. Take advantage of technology and get yourself educated. Know more about your rights, even at the confines of your room. Yes, we'll be looking at some of the challenges, what has led to us having a low representation of women in the digital world. But it is beautiful for me because each year, like I tell people, women's issue is not secluded to a day like this. It's a thing we celebrate every time. But this day like this sits everyone up, the government, civil societies like us, the security agencies, even media, all over the media today. You hear everybody talking about International Women's Day. It's like reawakening the awareness in the mind of the society at large, so that between now and the next 365 days, I will launch us to another theme where we'll start having a fresh motive and goal to ride for the next year. You see everything we'll do. So that even those that don't know anything, oh, they're talking about International Women's Day. The other time it was breaking the bias. The other time it was equity and equality. And today we're talking about embracing. So I am specialized in digital world. My sister may not be as specialized. I give her room to come close to me. Let her learn the things that I know that has given me the opportunity to be in the space that I am today. And before you know what is happening, the women's space are increasing. And of course, leadership is not limited. So by the time we get to know all of these things, I see what person A is doing in another state because I got to follow him or her digitally and through the varsity of technology. I want to be mentored by this person. I reach out to the person, even without seeing the person. I am having somebody mentoring me, all embedded because I choose to advance with technology.
Apart from tech, I mentioned didn't look at everything in general. You've talked about leadership. So in that light, I would ask you personally, because you have two grown kids and you do a lot as well. But what are some of the challenges you've faced in the workspace that are because you're a woman? And how have you dealt with it?
Some of the challenges are, some of the challenges are this immorality from the opposite sex. Like as a woman, there are some certain steps you want to attain, because the men are already there, already there. So they want you to do some kind of immorality to attain your height. Yeah, that position. So it's really, really a challenge. And the couple adding the responsibility at home to career and all that, it's not easy, but it's a zeal and it's a passion. It's what you have a passion for, you always have a time for it. So it has been a challenge, especially the other part of immorality for men, you know, looking at someone, you know, always want to get something before they give out opportunity. And, you know, a lot of people will always say that women are given the chance, but they actually misuse it. But you have to look at the kind of women that was given the chance, because the ones that really have this, the passion to carry on the stuff are not really given the opportunity to step on, because a certain thing was demanded and at the end this person refused to get it go, and the opportunity will be given to the person that actually wants to go to what you actually sacrifice it. So it's kind of crazy, but God is always helping us.
We like God.
Yeah,
you know, now that you talked about this, it just makes me remember that a lot is going on now, especially politically and political-wise. Elections in Nigeria, we even have one on Saturday. So y'all get your PVCs and come out to vote. Let me just campaign small. You know, if you voted in the last election and you feel you were not satisfied with the outcome,
time to correct it.
This is not the time for you to say, I give up on Nigeria, or I'm happy my candidate won, so let me just be laid back, or I'm not happy my candidate did not win, let me just stay back. No, we still need to come out and vote, because now we're bringing it closer to home. Forget federal now, this is state, and the state is even more crucial and more important. You need to put the people you want there, so that it will even be easier for the person you're putting up there to work. So come out and vote. All right. Now, in this election, I noticed that there were very few women who even participated. In Edo State, in this House of Assembly election, is even one name majorly of a woman we're hearing. In the reps and senatorial elections, it was basically 1 or 2 women we're hearing. It was also scanty. And there's a certain percentage that's supposed to be allocated to women. So I have a problem with the low turnout, and I want to know why that is. That's, in fact, I'm going to be asking you like 2 questions.
On leadership, okay.
Then at the same time, a lot of women occupying political seats outside of Nigeria. Now, I was looking at the fact that we have lots of prime ministers and presidents who are women in the Western.
Even Nigeria representatives.
Let me copy these women. These women are pushing. But now, a lot of them are stepping down. What did they happen? What did they zuzu?
you will really think they are stepping down, but the truth of the matter is, you know, when the affirmative stuff came up last year and a lot of persons were saying reserved seats, some of us were of the opinion they shouldn't just be reserved. It should also be fighting for like every other man would fight for. The awareness and sensitization that needs to be carried out at the political party level is still very, very low. They need to understand that we saying we want women representing, it's not because of trying to measure muscle. The truth is, as a woman, I can best understand what other women are going through. Yes, you may have experience because maybe you've gone through your mother, you've gone through your wife, your children are grown, you have sisters, but it can never be like. So even some of them were having coming out for either of the political parties now. It took heavy war before they could. if they are to be left alone, they would even want what happened in the last, like we have in the Edo State now, no single female in the House of Assembly. If they would want, they would want it to replicate itself. I know some battles that those people that even have opportunity to come out are facing. Like I told someone, I am generally campaigning for all women that are coming out this time around, not because it is a woman-woman thing. Let's have our representative in the House of Assembly, because they are the only ones that can make laws, that can bring out ideas that affect the woman. So one of the challenges you're facing right now is, before they will want to gather the money, like the men, when they just mention the money to pick up the ticket, they just go, they pick it up. Some of them will want to also put their heads together. The time is going. And because there is this mindset of, why will it be this woman? So even at the primaries, you see a lot of them being voted out. And once you don't get it in the primaries, there's no way you will be out here. It's a challenge that we have been facing. And that's why I've also advocated to some of these persons that have been in leadership in one sphere or the other, begin to mentor young minds. It may not be you. Imagine somebody that have been in a very high position, bringing one young person out and say, this is my mentee. I know I have invested everything that I have ever had on this person. Let's push for this person. He will now network other people that have also worked in leadership and say, let us stay back and bring out the person that we have mentored. So, but most times we also have this challenge. They want to always be there. And so because people have lost value for them, for some of them, people no longer think there's anything they have to give. They just said, for me to go for this person, I'd rather stay back. So it's also an advocacy to those that have had one opportunity to serve and feel that they have passion to have women in this position to pick up younger minds so that they can sell them to the society. And believe you me, I think in one of the political parties, we have 2 young persons coming out for the House of Assembly, and you see a lot of youths coming out to support. Why? Just because they feel it's a youth. Let's begin to bring people we have mentored, people we feel will replicate what we have. We have this influence. Pull this influence and make sure this person gets into position. I don't know if the second question, I don't know if I was able to touch.
I'm even talking about those who are stepping down. As I asked about those who are stepping down. But let me just direct this to her now, because I'm quite satisfied with what I've got. What could possibly, do you think women in leadership positions can really do well? Because there's one idea, it's not only a Nigeria thing. If you want to run for office as a woman, you have to be married. They have that idea. If you're a divorcee, wahala. If you don't have a man's name attached to your name, that's a problem. In fact, you even have more people welcoming you if you're not only married, you are a mother. You have children, so you are campaigning with both family and children. Then when you get into leadership position, how will you function optimally? Can a woman really function optimally dealing with leadership positions and dealing with family? Wow. Is it workable? Because we have our own biological issues.
Challenges.
Are these men ready to create this environment and allowances that when that's biological, I'm pregnant, I'm in labor, you have a big meeting, and I want to go and born. You now say meeting must hold. Will you put it on hold for me? I cannot control these things. I think there's some, okay, let me just ask my question.
Becoming a bit passionate about it.
Do you really think a woman can deal with combining leadership proper, career, business, politics? It doesn't matter the area of industry
leadership,
and family. Is family going to draw us back?
Wow. Basically, the story out there are kind of our feedback for such are always kind of negative, because starting, you always have them got married, you have wife, you have the husband, you have the children. Sometimes the husband will be supportive, but at a certain time, you see him declining. Like, start having
Security.
issues. Yes, start having issues with the family, especially the domestic work and other things, and time, because the basic thing for marriage is time, and when that time is no longer there, the marriage is no longer interesting, and the man start complaining, and the woman as well. We always have a way like, you met me doing this job, and you love me doing this job. Okay, why are you now complaining? Because sometimes passion might be so louder than the emotional part of it. The woman will always like, fine, if you don't want me to do this, let's just quit. Are you getting me? Let's quit. Before you know, she started the career being married. Then in the career, she's off marriage. Because combining, combining home and the responsibility coming from home, responsibility coming from society, responsibility coming from your career, and even yourself, it's not very, very, very easy. Because sometimes these men are aware they are being threatened. Because when they feel
exposures,
they feel when the woman is exposed, and they can no longer control the woman as well. Sometimes they want the woman to step down, they want the woman to draw back and all that. And you also get feedback from friends, feedback from family. I just saw your wife in Abuja. She was just sitting with some guys. You don't know what she was doing. At the end of the day, the man will call, what are you doing? Where are you? Insecurity and all that. Yes, before you know, the marriage start having issues. And because of that, some persons that they cherish their marriage so much, even if they have the zeal, they have the passion to go into politics, to go into such career, they will not want to go because they don't want to lose their marriage. Because they will see what happened to other persons, that, wow, this person was so in love with the family, but at the end of the day, look at what happened. But because of that, they want the zeal of women going into careers like this dies down, because they always want that family to be first. Yes.
I really would love to say something.
Please do.
Seriously, it's not fair. You know, the society has just been so unfair to women, because we were born with different makeup. We've got so many destiny to fulfill on earth. You just sit somewhere, you channel your life so much to control someone else's life, even up to the extent of turning and rewriting the person's destiny. Just like she said, some can be, you know, there's a practical example right now that I am handling. So beautiful, a couple working together, supporting each other. Like you mentioned, I travel a lot. And when I'm traveling, I make sure I have prepared a lot of things in the refrigerator that they could just wake up to warm. And you do the follow-up call, try to make up when you return. You do a lot of bribing, taking children out to make up of the time. And somebody would just sit somewhere and said, no, I can no longer take this. I want you to stop. It's not fair. Let us just keep supporting ourselves. I believe if a woman is doing well today, you are making the husband proud in the society. Of course, family and friends may not be too convenient, and they begin to filter words into your ear. But if you are a wise person, you will look through to what your wife is doing. How is it affecting life? We all have our different way of ministry. It's not everybody that stand on the pulpit to minister, but a lot of us are out there ministry, saving, and changing the lives of the future generation, so that when the generation of tomorrow is secured, we will have a better place to live. So I'm making this special appeal, like I always do, to men out there. Look at the passion of your wife. See the way with which you can support. When you are indoor, nobody cares to know what you are doing. So if you are the one cooking, if you are the one supporting your children, it doesn't make you less a man. Like I always tell women, as far as you don't begin to brag over your husband, it gives you a sense of relief when your wife is also economically independent, because whatever he or she is doing is bringing some support, which she is also lending to the family. Don't sit to want to shut your wife because you feel insecure. If you feel insecure about her, even if you get to marry someone else, you will also feel insecure. Then the question is, how many women would you want to start displacing from their God's given gifts? So I want to beg a special appeal. Today is International Women's Women's Day. The world is going digital. Our women are going to be advancing. Let's just support ourselves and see how we can become a better home to be.
In fact, I think majority of our problem is society, culture. Yeah. But it's okay. We'll be back because we're not done talking. We'll go on a short break. We also have a message from the United Nations that was teaching about equity. You know, there's equity and equality. It's different. But let's learn something quickly. Let's get the news headlines. When we come back, we'll talk some more.
Embrace equity. That is the theme of this year's International Women's Day. And it leads to an important question. What is equity? To talk about this topic, I like to talk about apples and bananas. Imagine that you are babysitting 2 children, and they are hungry, they'd like a snack. You go to the fruit bowl, and you start to pick up 2 apples to give them to each child. However, you remember at the last moment that one of the children is allergic to apples. So instead, you reach for 1 apple and 1 banana. In that way, you're being fair because you still give 1 piece of fruit to each child. But you're also being equitable because you're giving each child a legitimate way of satisfying their hunger. If you had gone for 2 apples, the child who's allergic to the apple would, on the surface, have a way to satisfy their hunger, but they couldn't do that without getting ill. So, in this way, you're being fair, you're giving each child a piece of fruit, but you're also giving them something that is in line with their individual needs so that they can be successful. That, in a nutshell, is equity. When it comes to equity in the workplace, pay is an important place to start. Making sure that women and people from other traditionally underrepresented and marginalized backgrounds are not paid less for doing the same work. It's important to look at your data, really analyze those figures, and see if there are pay gaps. If there are, put in processes and fixes to address this. Also, parental leave, making this accessible to people of all genders and normalizing it for people of all genders to take it up. This helps make sure that the burden of childcare does not fall unequally on mothers' shoulders and act as an impediment as they progress in their career. So, what can you and your business commit to in order to embrace equity? If you want inspiration or some support in arranging an International Women's Day event, give me a shout. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Kazuri Consulting's newsletter for practical tips and insights like this about inclusion.
All right, we're talking about the International Women's Day, and we're talking about how women are dealing with all of these, and we're still striving to survive against all odds. We will survive. We're not doing this for us now. We're doing it for our daughters that are going to come. It was a group of women that came out and said, we want to vote. And they started fighting for women's rights to vote. It was a group of women. So it's been one step at a time. We're not going to give up. We will talk. And we'll eventually get it right. Now, I saw a video on YouTube. They call these YouTube, when you open YouTube, you see YouTube shorts and all that. So I saw one on YouTube shorts. I actually thought it was a skit where the girl is Asian, and she was talking about, in 30 seconds, she just did a video on how she got married at 19, the man beat her, she ran out of the marriage, told her mom followed her to get her husband arrested. She divorced the man, he said he wasn't guilty, took about 5 years for him to accept that he was guilty. She eventually won the case. Now she's a nurse, she went back to school, and she's married again. So in 30 seconds, it was very interactive and interesting. I'm like, oh, I like your video, let me go check. And I saw that she did a whole lot of videos on violence and abuse in marriage. And it wasn't just her entertaining me, it was her reality she was sharing. And now what struck me was, divorce is not a common thing in Asia. They frown upon divorce even much more than we do in Africa. A regular Asian woman would tell the daughter to go back to the husband, wear makeup over those bruises, not go arrest the man and start fighting in court. But a mother and her sister were her backbone.
Enlightened.
But there's just a whole lot of battles we need to fight. And I want to ask you now, this Comrade Precious, how can we make more women aware of their rights? whether they are single, married, in marriage, planning to get married, out of the marriage, because we need to know who we are, what we have. If not, we cannot break through some of these gender stereotypes. So how can we make more women more aware of their rights so that we can break through all of these, if not all, at least some of these gender stereotypes?
Well, I don't have much to say about that, but talking about rights, I would say women should know their role to play in the society. It's just like as a woman in the house, you know your role as a woman. When you wake up, you take care of a family, you take care of yourself, you take care of your husband and children. Same thing in the society as a woman. The way women out there can also know their role to play in society, I think bringing out our sensitization programs. Sometimes we have sensitization programs, we have seminars, we go have, even the church also have a way to help these issues, like organizing a program in the church for women, then inviting speakers to come and talk to them, to teach them, even in school. As a young child, as a young female child growing up at age 13, as a teenager, when this program are being organized, I remember I had a program last year, August, with Windows on America, when ITV Glass had, where we taught our young ones the right of an African teen. So we through all this method, age is not a barrier. You don't say because I am not a woman yet, I'm not married yet, so you don't want to know your role that you have to play in society. So as a teen, as a young child, as a mother, so all these programs are being organized. You take time to attend. Some of them will want to say, I not feel locked up, go program. Yet you are dying in ignorance, you are dying, you are just, you are in dark. You don't know what's going on. Your mates are forefront of you. You are still there because you don't want to close your shop. I don't know what my husband will say. I don't know what you know, all those things. Time, there's no time. There is time for you to build yourself. What I'm trying to say is that even if you might not have the time to go out there, your phone is there. We'll talk about tech before. Your phone is there. You can use your phone to travel around the world, know what's going on, know what you have to do as a woman. Attend seminars. I attend seminar online. I attend program online. I attend trainings online. The one I couldn't attend, that was the one I ever traveled on Sunday. I had to travel down for that. You just try to build yourself. Even if you don't have the time to, okay, I can't read. Copy your mates. Copy your mates that are also growing. Copy them. You can copy. Copying is even more faster. You understand? Yes, it's faster. Copy them. Things. Yes. Copy the good ones. Definitely it's the good one. Copy them and see how they are going. It's not so bad for you to also ask questions from your neighbor. Your neighbor that is also developing. Like my mommy here, I think if she should have a neighbor that doesn't know her role to play in society, the neighbor should be a foolish neighbor, because it's not bad for you to walk up to her and say, Mommy, please, this is it. How can I do this? How can I do that? Then she puts you through. What I'm trying to say that in every area as a woman, we should just make use of time, make use of opportunity to develop ourselves and make us so that we will also know what to do and give back to the society.
Okay. All right. In all of this we're talking about, things must change.
Yeah, definitely.
Things have to change. We need to change from the way it used to be, the way it was in the beginning. No, it's not going to have to be that same way forever. But, Comrade Grace, do you think women are receptive to new ideas? Do we welcome new ideas? Are we ready for change?
It's very challenging to admit. It's very challenging, but I think the things that are happening today is even a wider or a faster awareness to women. Just like she mentioned, there are some persons that lives around me. There's one or two things I have done, and they will ask, are you a lawyer? I tell them I am not a lawyer. Whatever I am today is what I build. The first thing I tell a market woman who may not be as enlightened as our average educated woman is, the day you choose not to die is the day you begin to ask questions and you begin to listen to good counsels. The first question you may want to ask must not be telling this person your problem. You know where so thing that they fit, they handle them. And that's why most times when we come on air like this, we want to mention our organizational name because our doors are always open and we render services on pro bono without collecting money from you. We want to support you psychologically. We want to advise you because it's not all challenges in the family that are unresolvable. Now, if a woman is adamant, you know that woman has signed his or her death warrant. But if you are ready to listen and learn, do you know most times when we go to the market, they will even tell us, and all these ones, they pursue women for their husband's house. Mm-hmm. It's so shameful. I told a woman one day, I said, I can never advise you to leave your home. But I can tell you the things that you need to do that will even begin to change your husband's life. And that's why the first campaign I give to any woman going through violence is go and get yourself economically empowered. Because that is the first level your abuser will cripple you so that you will not even have an option to want to live for your life. Hear this. It's not all separation that leads to divorce. Separation is always preached when your life is at risk. So our women, when you see them one-on-one, they want to listen. They want to hear. They want to take your advice. But when they meet the wrong people, that is just preaching one side. You know, when we want to do counseling, we look at every area relating. That is where we begin to administer socio-economic empowerment. Sometimes we see that those that are having this violence are happening because of finance. Maybe the woman don't have something doing, or the man don't have something doing, and the pressure is becoming too much. So we take time to empower these women so that they can at least have something to do. That could just be the healing therapy that you need. So until you begin to engage with these women, we cannot generally say that our women don't want to accept change. A lot of them are dying. Why some are waiting for something very big? Trust me, the death of singer Osinachi brought a transformation to the religious cycle. Just this month, we had a program in my denomination, the Redeem, and our Mommy Gio from On Top left a day in one of the programs to talk about violence. I was opportune to be invited in my province to speak. And when I spoke, you heard a lot of persons taking contact. Ma'am, there are 1 or 2 cases. We want to reach out to you. We want advice. And by God's grace, it has been counseling, and counseling. Right to say, the religious sector needs to sit on this topic without missing word or trying to bend it. Because what happened to so many of our religious leaders is that they pick up the verses of the Bible that suits them, misinterpret them to perpetually keep their abusers under check. And that I am not sure God is happy about. So our women are really, really ready to embrace change if we approach them one-on-one. And I think recently we are beginning to even change our audience. We are not taking more of this awareness to the men. Because I believe if a man knows the right thing to do, he will also start living the life that will bring up his girl child or his son in the right way. And so throughout last year, you saw us, we started having engagement with traditional rulers. Because before the law, you will not say, because my customs say. If you do it or if you harbor, I think it was the new VAT, it was the VAT law that we actually sat on. And we brought out the penalties and show it to them. How even your custom may not save you if you really get someone that wants to sit upon your case for a violation, a rape, or even a domestic violence cases. And you saw a lot of them. They are now becoming our campaigner. They are telling their the landlords, they are telling their traditional rulers, even though some of them will pretend to dance to your tune and go back to do something else. So we are beginning to change our audience or have more of them from people that want to say, okay, fine, let's go and preach this. So back to the question, our women are eager to learn. But sometimes they want this done in a private setting so that they are sure that they can trust you with whatever information they will be passing to you.
Okay, what message do you think is the most important on a day like this to women? This morning I was thinking about this to myself and said, what's the most important message I want to pass today? Is it that women need to stand for their rights? Is it that I want to change the concept of feminism in the hearts of men? Feminism does not mean scatter marriage.
Yes.
Or is it that I want to tell people to hand it over to us because you have taken over the man's world? Or no, I want to tell women that fight for it, fight for it. Don't wait for them to hand it over. You have to do this all by yourself. At a point I say, I know you all know the message right now. But what do you think is the most, in your own perspective, most important message we should pass to women today?
Okay, for me, I think women should build themselves. They should invest more on themselves. You know, sometimes, it's not our fault. Sometimes you go to the market to get your clothes. You end up buying a clothes for your children.
Very, very true.
I swear,
very true.
Sometimes you go to the market to buy shoes or to get some stuff for yourself. You end up buying everything for your children. And you're like, it's fine. But another thing is that we should, we know, yes, we should have time now for ourselves. Fine, we educate our children, we give them the best education. Some of us didn't have the opportunity our children are having. But aside that, we women should devote time to build themselves. Because there will be a certain time that when a man will see your difference, when a man will see the you before is not different from the you now, then your value increases.
Sure.
Because when you stop, the day you stop building yourself, your value decreases. So I just feel that with this opportunity that every woman out there should build themselves so that they will increase their value. And we are talking about the men are not giving no chance. They're not giving no chance. I think when we build ourselves and the value is being seen, I think that we have a space for us to express ourselves as well.
I received that one. It's a personal message to me.
Yeah.
In the part of building myself, I need a time out with my girls.
Yes.
All right, Comrade Grace, what are your hopes for the future on gender diversity, equality, equity? What are your hopes?
Yeah, I think 2 years ago, things have really changed. With what I see, I am so assured that things are going to change. The reason why we think it's now that violence is on the increase is because a lot of persons have decided to be speaking out. You must be assured of your mental stability. All women, I always tell them, whatever threatens your mental stability, your health, is a threat to your life, and you must review it. So for us, this year, my message, preaching out to all women, don't keep quiet, ask questions. It's not only when you're feasted on that means you're being violated. Emotionally, you can be drained. That person that is just taunting you wants you to lose it. And if you don't review it, you are certainly going to lose it. So just as you're taking care of yourself, take care of your health, take care of your children. But whatever threatens your life, it's something you have to review. Go somewhere, ask questions. The person should be invited, talk over the issues. But when an adult refuses to change, I think my message never changes. Take a walk, because you need to live, L-I-L-E-A-V-E, to stay alive.
You need to live to live. All right, it's been very interactive today, and it's an emotional thing for me whenever I talk about women and the issues they face. I remember the time I talked about rape, I had to constantly hold myself back so that I don't take it personal. But I think women are going through a whole lot. We have to work twice as hard to get half of what a man gets. So a man just puts in this particular amount of energy, and boom, is here, we're all clapping. But for a woman to get there, you do times two. You have to keep proving yourself over and over and over again. But it's okay. we're going to pay the
We will get that.
Yes, we'll work for it and ensure that we get it based on merit, not because we sold our bodies to get it or we bribed our way through and all of that. Today is International Women's Day, and I'm celebrating every woman there. It doesn't matter your career. Are you in the military? Are you in health? Are you in entertainment, an actor, a singer, a painter? Are you in sports? Women are in wrestling, football, whatever field. Are you in media? Just name it. Are you an activist? Are you at the war front right now fighting? Or as a volunteer saving lives? Have you been kidnapped and sold into some form of human rights issue? Like, I don't want to say prostitution now because there are a lot of
sexual
things going on. Exploitation. And you're a survivor or you're still a victim. This day is for every one of us. This day is for us to speak out. This day is for us to share our stories, to help the others, to make women more aware, to protect them. This day is for us to embrace technology. We need this technology to actually speak out. We need this technology to help ourselves. There are some information you want to spread and you want to keep it very private, but the message needs to go. You need tech to do such things, to protect your identity, but still spread the message. You need tech for many things. Women need to go into technology. You need to learn computer. Man, break them down. You need to learn computer. Learn computer beyond Corel Draw, drawing tables, writing CVs. Learn computer. Learn the cocoa of computer. Know what's new and learn it. Pay for it. Don't be stingy with advancing yourself. As one of my guests said, train yourself. We're going to need all of those ideas, those intelligence you gather in the future. So ladies, let's embrace.
Yes, embrace gender equality.
Yes.
Our women begins to put your business online and the world will begin to get everything that you want to share.
All right. We'll be back again next week and we're talking about Islamophobia. You need to join us for that one. Bye.
Bye.